18 of the 30 first-round picks from the recent 2023 draft have played at least one game in the G League so far. You've had some that dominated there. Jarris Walker played 11 games, averaging 24, 5, and 5 on ridiculous efficiency. Jett Howard averaged 22 points, shooting 40% beyond the arc, but also some struggling. The lowest average of this year's first-rounders belongs to Derek Whitehead, putting up an inefficient less than 9. And even the 13th pick to the Raptors, Grady Dick, is averaging 15, but is shooting only 28% from 3. There's clearly been a wide range of G League success so far for this year's rookie class, but there's two players that so far have really stuck out when you consider where they were selected. As a freshman in high school, Emoni Bates was on the cover of Sports Illustrated with the headline, "Magic, Michael, LeBron, and the 15-year-old who's next in line." The story of Emoni Bates so far has been a wild one. It's featured insane hype, disappointment, getting arrested, and now what looks to be an epic comeback in the making. It really wasn't that long ago he was looked at as a future face of the NBA. He was deemed a lock for the top pick in the draft, at one point was even mocked over Victor Wembanyama. But that quickly changed. In 2021, Emoni would leave high school and attend the University of Memphis. He would take the court as the youngest player in college basketball. But there, things didn't go quite as expected. He averaged only 10 points, shooting less than 39% from the field. Given nearly all the excitement surrounding him as a prospect centered around his ability to score the ball, his stock began to plummet. In an effort to revive it, now being just a year out from being draft eligible, he would transfer to Eastern Michigan, where at least the one thing he could guarantee was that opportunity wouldn't be the issue. But then things take an even bigger turn for the worst.
Emoni Bates, the former #1 recruit in the 2022 class, was arrested Sunday night in Superior Township, Michigan, after sheriff's deputies discovered a firearm in a vehicle he was driving. Now, Bates...
However, fortunately, Emoni would avoid any major repercussions from this and was actually able to take the court last season. The box score numbers were impressive, 19 points and 6 rebounds. The efficiency, on the other hand, was once again concerning. Less than 41% from the field and 33% from 3. This, in combination with the new concerns off the court, many started to question whether we would ever see Emoni in the NBA, something that seemed impossible to imagine just a couple years prior. But throughout all of this, there was one thing that remained clear to everyone, and that was the talent. Emoni's skill and coordination at 6'9", you just don't see often. The NBA Combine made that even more obvious. Between all the craziness of the NBA season and the NFL playoffs, I've been having a ton of fun over on Prize Picks. If you think you know a lot about sports, it's a great place to put that to the test. They give you a bunch of different stats, and all you do is choose more or less. And now with their Demon and Goblin squares, which are higher and lower than the usual square, you can win up to 100 times your entry. Check out what I'm going with tonight. I'm taking Jalen Williams points, Brunson points, Colin Sexton points, D'Lo points. All these guys have been on fire. I'm riding the hot hand, but I'm going to go with a flex play, so I only need 3 of the 4 for a winning entry. Then in a separate entry, I'm going to add in some demons for the NFL playoffs. I'm going Isaiah Pacheco and Christian McCaffrey. On that entry, $50 wins $3,200. If you guys want to ride these with me or make your own, if you go to the link in the description and you use code JIMMER when you sign up, they'll match your first deposit up to $100. But also keep an eye out, as they always have tons of different promos going on. Thank you Prize Picks for sponsoring. Bates was absolutely knocked down the entire event. He posted both the second best catch and shoot score and the second best off the dribble score. This was really impressive, but in many ways, the Combine only emphasized what we already knew. The shot making talent was ridiculous. The physical profile outside of his height, not quite. Despite being 6'9", he measured in with a wingspan that matched his height, the 4th smallest hands in the entire Combine, and a weight of just 180 pounds. Measurements not far from most of the 6'2" guards entering the draft. But again, this really wasn't that surprising, so there was absolutely no question. He left the Combine as a major winner. Buzz started picking up for the NBA draft. It looked like someone would take the shot. And with the 42nd pick in the second round,
Cleveland Cavaliers select Emoni Bates from Eastern Michigan University.
He made an incredible comeback, but this was a comeback story that was only getting started. Just weeks later, he was off to Las Vegas to compete in the NBA Summer League, where he was easily one of the most impressive rookies of the week. He averaged 18 points and 6 rebounds, shooting 40% beyond the arc. He played a pivotal role in the Cleveland Cavaliers going on to win the Summer League title. Things were really looking up, but it was hard to say what we could really expect going forward. The Cavaliers had ambitious goals for the season. They were bringing in guys like Max Strus and Niang in free agency. It just didn't really seem like there was much of a chance for Bates to get on the court this season. But surprisingly, only a few games into the year, he was playing 23 minutes where he went out and did this.
It's Bates in the corner, quickly comes out to defend. Cleveland, here's Bates in the corner, it's Merrill. Got the three, just like go up against Hart and get the Niang screen that opens up some space, then he puts it down. Great junior college players too at Vincennes in Indiana. Bates. Emoni Bates knocks down a long three.
Now, unfortunately, that role was more to do with injuries than anything, and we actually haven't seen much of him since. He's appeared in just 10 games for an average of less than 8 minutes, so most of his time has been spent in the NBA G League.
To Emoni Bates for the straightaway three. Got it. Lean forward, right back in. Backdoor cut, one-hand slam. He'll shoot the three ball from there. Slides, picks it up, gives it to Bates. Left wing, three ball. Kicks across court to Cooper. Alley-oop left block. Looking for Bates, gets it to him left corner. Let's fly that three ball.
Through Emoni's 15 games across the Showcase Cup and the regular season, he's averaged 25 points and 5 rebounds, shooting 42% from three on extremely high volume, over 10 attempts a game. And these are also far from just catch and shoot attempts.
Isaiah Mobley hands it Emoni Bates, stutter stepping straight away. Let's fly into the three. Emoni Bates. Motor City. Bates left alone. Swish.
Between his combine performance and what he's now doing in the G League, we at least know for certain that Emoni is absolutely knocked down beyond the perimeter. But what does all this success he's having mean for the future? Emoni's doing everything he can to shell out a role in Cleveland, but unfortunately in the immediate future, that's pretty unlikely. Chances are there would need to be some serious change to the roster or short-term goals for the team in order for him to be taking the court consistently. See, Emoni's playstyle puts him in a pretty weird spot. Emoni thrives in a situation where he represents a big share of the offense, but without top-end draft capital being tied to a player, that's really hard to receive, especially from a competitive team like Cleveland is. Like most of the league, to begin his career, Emoni's gonna have to prove himself as a role player, a role where his flaws become a lot more glaring. Unfortunately, scoring talent doesn't always lead to the opportunities or success you would expect. Take Luka Garza, for example, someone that just might be one of the best scorers on the entire planet. As crazy as that sounds. He averaged 24 on 55-44 splits in his senior year in college. In the G League last season, he averaged over 30 points, shooting 60% from the field and 40% from three. He appeared in 28 games with the Timberwolves main roster, where he averaged 7 points on 54-36 splits. This doesn't sound all that crazy, but that was playing less than 9 minutes a game. Per 36, he was averaging 27. He would finish the year with the highest offensive rating on the team. Not just that, the 6th highest offensive rating in the entire league, the 2nd highest at the center position, only behind Nikola Jokic. Objectively, he is one of the best offensive bigs on the planet right now. So why is he struggling to hold on to a consistent role? Well, the answer to that is also not that hard to track down. He posted the lowest defensive rating on the Timberwolves, the 3rd lowest at the center position across the entire league. He is objectively one of the worst defensive bigs at the NBA level. There's only one scenario where someone like Garza can even potentially be a net positive on the court, and that's when he's the focal point of the offense, but the pathway to that kind of role just isn't there. We've seen that G League dominance far from guarantees NBA opportunity. Look at Mac McClung, someone who's always making headlines for his remarkable ability above the rim, but over the last few years has consistently dominated the G League. A year ago, he averaged 20 and 5 on 55-47 splits. This season, he's upped it to 25 and 7, shooting with 53-43 splits. Yet so far, he's only appeared in 4 games in his NBA career. Emoni's pathway to a role is much stronger than both of these players, but the careers of guys like Garza and McClung give really valuable insight to not only how hard it is to get on the NBA court, but how hard it will be for Emoni to be in a situation where he even has a chance to make good on that potential we all know he has. Okay, I'm jumping in here after editing this video as it just came out that Emoni Bates has been suspended for 2 games for going into the stands after a game. You can see he was going back and forth with someone before the camera cuts away, but then only seconds later, he's back in the handshake line. A lot of people are going to make this out to be some big thing. It's not. It's a nothing burger. Now, while Emoni went through one of the biggest draft stock collapses the sport has seen, that wasn't the fall that everyone was talking about on draft night. Going in, everyone expected Villanova freshman Cam Whitmore to be one of the very first selections in the draft. The Pistons at 5 was the most commonly mocked spot, but they ended up going with Asar Thompson. At that point, the expectation from pretty much everyone was that he would not be making it past the Pacers at 7. But then pick after pick goes by. The Magic, the Pacers, the Wizards, Jazz, Mavericks, still nothing. The entire lottery, still nothing. Twitter is going crazy. What is happening? What do we not know? Is there some secret injury or something? Then the fall just continues until finally,
the Houston Rockets select Cam Whitmore from Villanova University.
For a majority of the draft process, it was reported that the Houston Rockets were highly considering taking him with the 4th pick in the draft. Now they were somehow getting him at 20. What happened? On draft night, Whitmore was making it extremely clear there wasn't an injury. The best information we got from bits and pieces was that this fall stemmed from some character and effort concerns, but even to this day, the exact concerns are still very unclear. But what is clear, whatever happened that night added a chip on his shoulder. He's looked determined to make all 19 teams that passed on him regret their assumptions. Shortly after the draft, he takes home MVP of the Summer League, averaging 19-5 and over 2 steals. Then unfortunately, there's not a role available to tip off the NBA season, so like Imani, his first chance to change that comes in the NBA G League, where once again, he dominates.
Lob backdoor, Cam Whitmore, a throwdown. Take advantage of the technical free throw as Whitmore forced it up top. Whitmore lays it in after refuses the screen. Pretty pro hop and finish. So far, the Vipers having none of that as Cam Whitmore in transition. Cam Whitmore lays it in. Whitmore for 3, extra pass. Whitmore's open. He's got another. Whitmore, a heat check 3. Oh yeah.
You got great character guys, and they'll be back, I can assure you.
Cam Whitmore, another 3. He's got 42.
Over his 13 G League games, he averaged 26 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists, shooting 48% from the field and 39% from 3. Now it was just a matter of time before his real opportunity came. So when Tari Eason and Dylan Brooks would die with injury, there was no question who would be filling in for their shoes. Over Houston's last 12 games, he's been playing 19 minutes a night, putting up a pretty impressive 11 points and 4 rebounds on 48-41 splits. Things haven't gone too great for the Rockets during this stretch as they have a record of 5-7, but that has very little to do with Whitmore. In this time, he's had the 2nd best offensive rating and the 3rd highest net rating in the rotation. What's also really promising is that when Dylan Brooks returned to the lineup, Whitmore's role didn't go anywhere. It'll be interesting to see what happens when Tari Eason also returns. But with every game that passes, it's becoming clear Whitmore is a key part of the Rockets' future and is determined to instill regret into the rest of the league.